With an aggressive chassis, feisty engine, and a low-weight, Ducati's new Hypermotard 698 Mono RVE Supermoto motorbike is easily one of, if not the most fun and agile machines that you can purchase from a showroom today. Yet what makes the new Hypermotard 698 Mono so impressive is that it's tied together with such a good electronics package that it really is usable and abusable for every level of rider. It's not just a one-trick pony built for experienced riders, as it also flatters a rider's ability like nothing else, whether you're a novice or a Supermoto champion. The new single-cylinder motor is incredibly refined, offering the level of excitement that is expected from a lightweight Supermoto machine. Yet unlike other thumping torquey singles, the 698 Mono makes its power right at the very top of the rev range, meaning that it's at its happiest when taken right to the redline. Thanks to its nature, it takes a bit of time to push it to its maximum. Yet when it is being thrashed is when it's so rewarding, with a Ducati-esque bark from the twin exhausts. It's a motor that offers enough excitement, but is also capable of being incredibly docile and usable in its application, thanks to a refined throttle connection and a surprisingly soft bottom end. As to be expected from a Supermoto machine, the combination of that long travel suspension, high center of gravity, and a light weight make the Hypermotard 698 Mono one of the most agile and exciting machines you can buy today. It changes direction with the lightest nudge of those big wide bars, and has a front end that can be placed absolutely anywhere, even when heavy on the big Brembo front brake. Although the riding position is motocross-esque in its rider placement thanks to the tall seat and the placement of the handlebars and foot pegs, it gives you the option of riding both foot down and knee down. Yet perhaps the most impressive thing about the Hypermotard 698 Mono is how Ducati have tied everything up with the electronics package, which truly adds an additional element to the Hypermotard. Along with 4 rider modes, there are brand new abs and wheelie control strategies which each have 4 different settings, and they are absolutely incredible. The 4 levels of abs have been tuned to assist riders of any level, and it doesn't detract from the riding experience, but adds to it. Where level 4 is all in with heavy intervention, level 3 allows for a small amount of slide by brake, which means the rider can stamp on the rear brake, fire down the box, and the electronics will do all of the hard work, regulating the level of brake, slide, and engine braking. For less experienced riders, it's a great way to learn bike control. Yet for those who want more, level 2 offers a surprising amount of rear brake slip. But with the safety barrier of abs, it's possible to get properly sideways with 100% pressure on the rear brake, and the Hypermotard literally just looks after itself. There's also the choice to turn it off. But for learning to drift a machine into a corner, nothing can replicate the Hyper's mighty electronics. With a seat height of 904 mm, the Hypermotard is a tall beast, but thanks to it being not only so light but also so thin, it's easy to move around and friendly at slow speeds with a sharp turning cycle too. As a light and nimble machine for navigating city traffic, the 698 Mono ticks all the right boxes, and there's more than enough space on board to cater for a larger rider. It's just as happy being ridden harder with bar and peg placements, meaning that knee down is easily achievable, as is leg down if you'd prefer, with a riding position that feels super naked-esque in its application and not too heavily Supermoto biased. The chassis feels competent and has the ability to give loads of feel, especially through the front end. With a minimal amount of unsprung weight, it's really precise and agile, yet it offers this without comprising too much in terms of stability. However, on regular-sized tracks or under heavy road riding conditions with longer, harder braking zones, the Hypermotard will benefit from additional support on the front end under braking, which is possible thanks to the fully adjustable suspension. Ducati's new Super Quattro Mono motor is the most powerful production single ever, and it certainly packs a punch. Derived from the twin-cylinder 1299 Panigale engine, it has the same big 116 mm piston, along with an incredibly short stroke of 62.4 mm and a high 13.11 compression ratio, which really gives it a shed load of peak power. Although it packs over 46 pound-feet of torque, it's at the top end where the Hypermotard makes its power. pulling all the way to the redline at 10,250 revolutions per minute. Making its peak power at 9,750 revolutions per minute, it really needs to be revved in order to get the most out of it, pulling at its hardest when it's nearing the limiter. Unlike other singles, it doesn't quite have that same brute force of torque at the very bottom end, yet there's enough on tap to keep things interesting, and it means that the application is smooth as well. The gearbox and quickshifter system work in perfect harmony, with a responsive feel through the gear lever that works wonders up and down the box. There are also longer gear ratios which have been modeled on the Panigale V4, which means that first and second aren't too brutal in their application, with a throttle response that isn't jerky on its initial pickup either. This is aided by a new hydraulic slipper clutch system, which is up there with the very best units that Ducati have ever fitted to one of their machines. Reliability and equipment. In terms of the build quality, the new Hypermotard 698 Mono is a gorgeous little thing. It is minimal, raw and aggressive in its design with a distinctive face that is reminiscent to the sharp shapes of their new motocross range. Ducati have gone to great lengths to keep things tidy, and it shows with no excess plastic, metal or wiring, and an attention to detail that we've come to expect the Italian brand. As the engine platform is new, only time will tell on the reliability front. However, the latest range of Ducatis have been fairly reliable, and they're confident in the new platform by offering long service intervals of 18,000 miles for a full Desmo service. Electronically, the Hypermotard has a host of goodies. There are 4 riding modes, alongside the ability to alter all of the electronics under the sun. 4 levels of ABS which have been dialed in specifically to allow for sliding. 4 levels of wheelie control, 4 levels of traction control, and even the option of Ducati wheelie control assist, which when added acts as the opposite of wheelie control by holding the front wheel up a certain level, without the worry of going over the back.